You know, this beautiful scenery kind of reminds me of the stuff that you're going to see in Super Monkey Ball Jr. for the Game Boy Advance. They've done an incredible job of bringing the GameCube classic game to the Game Boy Advance. You've got a 3D engine in this game, so you actually have the camera rotating around. It's a very, very accurate recreation of what the GameCube offered. They've got all kinds of sound effects and music samples that they pulled right from the GameCube game. There's also mini games in there, so you can actually play monkey golf and monkey bowling, and there's monkey fight. There's a bunch of different stages. There's, of course, the 10 stages for the easy mode, the 20 for the sort of intermediate level, and 30 stages for the expert level. The only complaint I have here is that because they're trying to push the horsepower of this machine to its limits, it's a little bit choppy. So it's a little bit too difficult to try to navigate these little twists and turns to get from the start to the goal. And if you played Monkey Ball on the GameCube, you know how difficult that game was in the first place. So translating it to a system where the frame rate can't really keep up with itself, it makes it even more frustrating and more difficult. I wish it was a little bit sharper, but I can't complain too much. I'm going to give this game 7.5 out of 10. All right, we're back and we're done with baseball. We're going to talk now about Furious Karting for the Xbox. What do you think of this one?
Now, if you take the first letter of both those words and you switch them, you get Furious Farting.
This game sort of aspires to be that cartoony sort of kart game experience, but it also throws in all this realistic kind of physics stuff.
Oh yeah, the physics are real accurate. When you go off a jump, you do 360.
You do that.
What are you talking about?
You do that. That's where it doesn't become accurate. Most of it is sort of accurate in the way the
car
kart actually
handles on the ground.
when it's
very
actually
tight.
attached to the road.
Right.
But then the second it leaves the road,
your kart starts to go into like crazy, wacky flips.
I know.
It doesn't make any sense.
And it feels scripted or like preordained, like every jump is going to land exactly the same way.
One cool thing that they did do in the game that was unique, though, is that they used the right thumbstick button.
Yeah.
You can move your player
That's pretty cool.
in the kart so you can lean into turns and try to do some tricks as you're flipping.
There's also a whole bunch of little power-ups and stuff that you can pick up in the thing. You can pick up bombs and throw bombs.
Don't forget my favorite.
The chicken.
You throw chickens in this game.
You can throw a chicken. You got the
Why,
little speed
we have
burst.
no idea, but you can do it.
You can throw these missile-type things on people
You
and
got
it'll screw
a
them
nice
up.
aluminum bat.
Well, the thing is the more people that you beat up on, the more angry your opponents get, and they hold the grudges, so they'll come after you and they'll try to hit you against the wall.
Isn't farting funny?
And they'll hit you with bats, and like I'd like to do to Tommy right now, they'll just bash you over the brains.
In some of the races, you're on like these teams, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the objective to the game is to let someone else on your team win. And if you happen to win the race,
They get angry at you.
they get angry and your game is over.
They have this thing called interactive
music.
And who's ever in first place is the music that gets played.
Right.
So it's constantly switching at every lead change. But the music is so horrible in this game, it just puts you in a bad mood. Of course, they got all these crazy characters from all over the world.
Hey, watch where you're driving, you curious farter.
I'm going to give Furious Karting, I said it right, 6 out of 10.
And I'm giving Furious Farting a 6 as well.
On the positive side, the ground-based physics of the karts are pretty good. Power-ups are always fun, especially if there's a chicken involved. And we really like the idea of interactive music and a different theme song for each racer.
On the negative side, this is just a real mediocre racing game. The physics when you take jumps and try to do tricks are just so over the top it's ridiculous. But the biggest problem the title has is that it tries to be realistic, yet have all this cartoony stuff in there as well, and it doesn't do any of them right.
Okay, so there's a lot of gamers out there that are playing PlayStation 2 games online, and they've got to go into the chat rooms, and they've got to do all this talking and trying to figure out how to put keyboard commands into your controller and talk with your controller is very frustrating.
Yep.
So you can do one of two things. You can pick up a USB keyboard and plug it into your PlayStation 2, or you can go search out Logitech's Netplay Controller.
I've been talking for years about give me a mouse and keyboard controller
Right.
for my consoles
Right.
so I can play my Red Faction 2 and Time Splitters and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The first person mode. But this thing doesn't come with a mouse.
Well,
it's
you
just
got to
a
use
keyboard.
the right thumbstick and the WASD, so you're kind
It's
of
impossible.
It's not impossible. It's just not that intuitive, and that's really the big glaring flaw here. Is that yes, it combines everything into a nice, neat package, and you can pop the keyboard out, and you can have that as a separate element if you want. But really, you could just buy a cheap USB keyboard and use your DualShock analog, just switch between them, and save a lot of money because this thing costs $70.
I mean, I would have liked to have seen it maybe wireless.
Yeah, because in this one you actually have to plug one part of the controller into the USB, and you also have to plug it into the controller port as well. It has a vibration feature in there. It's got all the buttons that you want.
My keyboard's vibrating.
From the PlayStation 2 dual analog controllers. It really is just the price that does it for me. I can't recommend it just because it's too expensive for what you're getting.
I also cannot recommend this.
On the positive side, the Netplay controller is very well constructed and rugged and well designed. You can actually pop the keyboard out so you can lighten the controller a little bit. And the Netplay actually comes built with vibration, so you can have that going on in your typing.
On the negative side, to me, the controller was way too heavy. It's too hard to play any first-person shooter games with this controller. I would have liked to see the addition of a mouse. And for what you get, the price is really too expensive.
All right, we're going to come right back with a look at ATV Quad Power 2 from Acclaim for the GameCube. Stick around.